Hello everyone! My name is Ian, the part-time Dungeon Master, and welcome back to D20 Sundays. So, let's get on to it. Villains. I've talked about these in the past when it comes to this channel, and it's like, as far as like inspirations for them and so on. But when I talked about them, I didn't mention that there's a section of them in the Dungeon Master's Guide. Page 94. Dang it, still getting over the sinus infection. So, when it comes to what is in the Dungeon Master's Guide, it doesn't give you like full-on, straight-out explanations for creating a villain. Instead, it gives you some roll charts. And you should really look at them. They're page 94 and 95, and there's another one on 96 with a little bit more information. But, really, what you're looking at is their scheme, their methods, and their weakness. And if you were to just, let's see... There's a D20. I got D6s and a D10. These are these ones that I made. So, let's see. We'll just say, passion is the is the villain's scheme. So that's the number 5 on the D8, and we're gonna roll a D4. I'm just going to choose, no, it's going to raise or restore a dead loved one. That's, page 94. And then, on the methods, we're going to roll a D20. It's not a perfect D20, but it will do for this. And that's a 7. 7. Dueling. They duel people. That's how they do their method. That doesn't seem right. I think we should do a reroll. 13. 13 is neglect. That doesn't work either. Do they neglect people in order to bring back their dead loved one? No. Okay, 19. Vice. Adultery, drugs, alcohol, gambling, seduction. So they duel, then neglect, and then vice their loves back to... Let's try this one more time. 4. Captivity or coercion. I don't think these are good dice. 13. You know what? Forget the rolling. The reason why is because sometimes the schemes and the methods just don't really match up. So, even without rolling and trying to determine a villain's way of doing things that way, you can still look at the lists and get inspiration from them, even if you want to roll or if you don't want to roll. The fact is, there's still plenty of ways that this villain could, try to raise or restore a dead loved one. Perhaps they are, into magical mayhem. They're one of it's raising or animating the dead, summoning monsters, weather control, infernal bargains. That one's a good one. Maybe they're trying to make an infernal bargain. They have to, or they made a bargain, and now they have to find a way of completing that bargain in order to save their loved one. Maybe they are into religion, and they're doing desecration, or they're praying to a false god, or heresy, or cults. Maybe it's murder and disease. They have to spread enough disease around. Think of just the different ways that you can use this list to your advantage. The reason I say that is because this has, you roll a d20, and then, each one has their own, D4, D6, D8, D10. And you just pretty much use that as a way of choosing of how they do something. But I feel kind of miffed in a sense because I never used this. I've never used this, and I'm upset because it's such a good resource. I've always used the Dungeon Master's Guide as a rules reference, double checking rules, double checking magic items, checking certain things, but never have I actually used it for creating a villain. A city? Sure. A quick quest? Yeah. A villain? No. I've never done it. And I'm kind of upset because it looks like such a great resource for that. So I guess, in a sense, not only am I talking about, hey, there's a great resource in the Dungeon Master's Guide that comes for free for creating your own villain, that you can either roll or use it as a form of inspiration, but to use the whole book itself as a resource. One second. Still getting over the sinus infection. But that's the thing. This whole book is a resource, a wealth of resources for creation of many things. And even on the next page, it talks about the villain's weaknesses, villain's class options, and then it goes to the next chapter. But that's not important. What's important is that the villain itself must be compelling enough for the players to try and pursue and go after them. And I feel like this is kind of awesome in a sense. The fact that there is all of this and all of these different possibilities of how they get what they want. All these different methods that they are using to complete their scheme. And you never again have to really put full thought into, what am I going to do? I gotta, create a villain on the fly. Well, the villain does confidence scams, breaches of contracts, cheatings, fast talking, fine print, fraud, swindling, and quackery, or tricks. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to have a villain that scams the hell out of the party, and he screws them over, and that way they're chasing after him constantly, wanting to, get their money back or something. Or maybe 20. Warfare. Ambush, invasion, massacre, mercenaries, rebellion, terrorism. They're taking on someone who's trying to, ruin the kingdom that they've been living in. This is a resource, guys. Just even rolling a D20 can be enough to inspire you as to what kind of villain you should throw against your party this time. Even if you're just doing the creature of the week kind of thing. Anyways, that's all I wanted to talk about today. And also, before I forget, I'm moving D20 Sundays to bi-weekly. As you remember, I did this once before, and I was doing that at the same time I was doing Star Wars Destiny game and a couple other things. That none of them really panned out, but at the same time, I'm trying to do things again, and so for a brief moment, D20 Sundays will be back on the bi-weekly schedule, so not next week, but the week after will be the next D20 Sundays. Anyways, I'll catch you guys then. Laters.